What's going on, guys? My name is Bob, and today I'm going to share with you a little bit of a story regarding Yu-Gi-Oh! And how it's affected my life before we get into the main meat of this video. So, up until August of last year, it's currently March of, yeah, I said August. March of 2017. I was away from Yu-Gi-Oh! For probably about like 10 years because I left during like Season 1 of GX. Not because I wanted to, because like stuff happening in my life and Magic the Gathering was the thing, so yeah. So I want to share with you my personal journey of how I got back into Yu-Gi-Oh! And how I think a lot of people can benefit from me sharing the story to catching up with Yu-Gi-Oh! And what all that brings with it. So the first thing you're probably wondering is like, why do I want to get back into Yu-Gi-Oh! The reason I feel like it's important right now is because the community is booming. It's got, I feel like it's getting a huge insurgence of popularity recently because of recent stuff like Arc 5 being good and newer formats actually being really fun to use. So I'm going to show you my tool of how I got back into Yu-Gi-Oh! Without too much of a hassle. So what you're looking at right now, this is a game called Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist. This is a 2015 release game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Battle Simulator on PS4. It's got some 2016 support, but that's not here or there. So the reason I feel like this game is really good for teaching you the basics of getting back into Yu-Gi-Oh! From whatever point you were to up till now, this game I feel like is a great tool for getting to that point once again. So let me just check my... Excuse me. So let me just go ahead and show you some stuff really fast. So you have story modes for each of the main arcs in the series. So we have Vanilla Yu-Gi-Oh! With Duelist Kingdom, and this retells all the story up until the Orichalcos arc through DLC and the final confrontation between Yami Yugi and Rigger Yugi and Atem returning to the grave. GX covers all the major highlights of the series and doesn't stray too far. 5Ds is also covers the full story. XXL can't really give you any information about, but I know it does cover most of the story. And Arc 5 is mostly DLC, but doesn't tell you the story. So the reason each of these is important is because each one, when you go into a different format, it gives you a full-on tutorial up front about how things work. So like if I were to go into the Duelist Kingdom section, I can show you that it gives you a full-on tutorial as soon as you just walk in the front door. So this basically shows you like the basics of how to even duel, and it gives you a full rundown of how all that crap works out. So it tells you about the zones. I feel like this is a really good way of teaching you how to get back into it. Now, where I feel like a lot of people kind of leave off on is probably around either 5Ds or GX. GX's introduction story mode shows you about how fusions work. Fusions is already a thing back in regular Yu-Gi-Oh! So it's not too big of a factor, but it still teaches you like how everything works out with the extra deck and stuff like that. So then you have 5Ds, which is I feel like where there was a good amount of drop off of the casuals because of memes and stuff like that. So jump into it, and it gives you this full rundown on how synchros work. So I'm telling you all this because where I personally left off on, I said I left in like 2007. So as a result, when I got back into Yu-Gi-Oh! Because of my friend Brandon convincing me because of this, I got right into it, and take my word for it, the game becomes a lot more fun than you remember it being because of synchros and then stuff like XZ summoning and pendulum summoning. When you get the pendulum summoning, that's when shit gets really fun, personally speaking. So now, I think I want to mention before about this stuff. What probably turns away a lot of people is the price tag for a lot of these cards, and I know that a lot of them can be exorbitantly priced because make a full deck that's even competitively viable. It's kind of a bitch. I highly recommend sticking with the games first. This helped me a lot with actually getting a sense for everything going in the games or the trading card game in general. But the reason I feel like this is very important is because at this point, this game has all the cards up until 2016. A lot more stuff through like bonus shit. So like if I were to jump into here, I have over 6,230 cards at my disposal. A lot of them multiples too, like up to 3 of each one, so I can just really customize it. And I feel like this is also really good because each one gives you a lot of different recipes for stuff you can work with. Like for pretty much every character, theme, and archetype, you have a lot of room to work. And there are also a lot of like pre-built deck recipes you can find online, like Reddit and stuff like that. So between the accessibility of the cards, how far the modern meta has gotten, and the easy accessibility of the cards, I feel like I might have said that point already, but it bears repeating, in the games, you really, Legacy of the Duelist and stuff like Duel Links and shit like that, it's really good for helping to encourage players get back into the game. Plus, there's a lot of YouTube channels out there right now that are really happy to give people like the fundamentals for getting into the game again. Yu-Gi-Oh is actually a pretty intricate community in terms of how everything interacts with each other. A lot of people are really friendly. There's the usual elitists as well, but that's kind of fundamental for a lot of games, no matter what you do. Just some are more present than others. Yu-Gi-Oh has its own elitist fan base, of course, but I mean, really, who doesn't at this point? So yeah, I feel like this game right here is a really good jumping off point for getting caught up with the game again. Something this game doesn't cover, however, is links. There's a lot of other resources that can probably tell you how links work. Frankly, I don't even know how links work yet, but that's because I'm still playing this game. I just recently completed the whole thing with Duelist Challenges. So from here, I will be learning how links work. So as a result, this is a really good tool to catch yourself up over this helped me close the gap on a decade of being outside of the Yu-Gi-Oh fan base and the game itself. If it could do it for me, someone who's disinterested in this shit as I can get, at least for a time, I feel like this will really help you guys with reacclimating towards the Yu-Gi-Oh environment and being able to play on a decent level. You don't have to be competitive. No one says you have to play Yu-Gi-Oh competitively. I like playing Yu-Gi-Oh. I like playing bots. I'm not a competitive player yet. I like messing around with decks. I like themes, I like structures, and I like being able to make them better, but I'm not a competitive player by any stretch of the imagination. I probably will someday, but I'm more interested in competitive Tekken than competitive Yu-Gi-Oh. So whatever you want to do, you don't have to be a competitive player. You can just mess around and have fun. No one's saying you have to be one or the other. So yeah, I just want to leave you guys with that. This game is really good for helping you get back into the swing of things if you so choose. Konami's a really stupid company a lot of the time. Trust me, a lot of the time. But credit to them for at least making this game to being able to help you reacquaint yourself with the series if you're trying to close the gap from where you were at to what you can do in this game. So, hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to go take off and do some other stuff and make an ass of myself. So yeah, peace.